Good morning, everyone. I'm here today with Pascal Hamlin, the Chief Executive Officer of Bonterra Resources, to discuss the recent drilling results, as well as provide a general corporate update. So just quickly, Bonterra is an advanced stage exploration company with 2.1 million ounces defined between three 100% owned high-grade underground deposits in Quebec. The company has 38,000 hectares and is currently drilling all three deposits, which are open laterally and at depth to infill and expand their current resource, as well as test regional targets. There's good infrastructure in the area, and Bonterra controls the only permitted mill, which is in the process of being expanded to 2,400 tons per day. Bonterra trades at a significant discount to peers, around US $40 an ounce, which we think provides a very interesting time to learn about and get involved with the story. I just want to remind everyone, at the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A. You can type any questions you have in the bottom of the Q&A box, and then we'll address them when Pascal's finished running through the slides. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Pascal.
Well, in this presentation, there'll be some forward-looking statement. All amounts are in Canadian dollars, okay? So first, what is Bonterra? Well, we're an exploration company, advanced exploration. We're in the middle of an aggressive drill campaign. We drilled so far this year 70,000 meters. We're planning on continuing the drilling. We got 7 drill rigs in the field right now. Drill number 8 is imminent. The plan for next year is to do a mineral resource estimate in Q2, followed by a PEA in Q4. And then parallel to that, we're going to continue the permitting process for the decline at Gladiator and also the mill upgrade and the tailings facility upgrade over at Mulroy. Right now, significant discount to peers. We're sitting around $33 per ounces versus our peers over $100. We got 2.1 million ounces already identified in the resource statement that was released in 2019. We have an operating mill. It's actually just completing the bulk sample right now. We have a 10,000 ton bulk sample in process over at Mulroy, and it's being processed inside our bachelor mill. That mill has the potential to go up to 2,400 tons a day with the permitting process and rapidly advancing. We got, like Victoria mentioned, we got over 38,000 hectares of mineral property and a very young camp, so a lot of potential for additional discovery. So where we're sitting, you see in gray, you got the company with assets, and in green, the company with no assets, only a resource. So we have a significant discount to peers. So it's a good time to pay attention to Bonterra Resources. So our plan is very, very simple. Drilling. We're going to be drilling our 3 flag project, Gladiator, Barry, and Mulroy. In the spring, we're going to do a cutoff date probably near the end of April, and then we're going to do the resource estimate, and we want to get that out before the summer, followed with a PEA, and then in parallel, we're going to do the permitting. So the capital structure, we got 78 million shares outstanding right now. We're in the middle of a $10 million financing right now. We announced it last week, and it should be closing anytime soon. Capital structure, we got 52% of our shares held by a few institutions, and the largest shareholder is Wexford Capital, followed by Kirkland Lake Gold. The board of directors, we have Cesar Gonzalez, who joined Bonterra board in April. Normand, Peter O'Malley, and Jean Réville joined the board this summer. And Akiba and Matthew have been there since 2019. Matthew is also the president of Air Quebec. a regional airline based here in Val-d'Or, and Matthew is from the Cree First Nation of Waswanipi, about 30 kilometers northeast of the Bachelor Mill. So Matthew knows the area very, very well. So where we're sitting, you see here in the top right, you got the Mazar fault, and on that fault you got the Berry deposit on the same fault as Windfall, and then dark green is our property. It's all in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, and it's all related to shear systems. Further north here, about 100 kilometer north, you got the Mulroy deposit sitting in the Bachelor Camp, and it's also in the regional fault in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. This area here is very little drilled. It's a young camp, especially this area here where Windfall, Berry, and Gladiator are located. That area has been open to prospector like 30 years ago. So it's very young, very little drilling done. A closer look at it, you got the Bachelor Mill up here. It's functional. It's on the power grid. It's 4 kilometers away from the highway. So we have all the infrastructure here in place. You can access the Berry and Gladiator deposit projects through a year-round maintained gravel road. We have 2 access, one from Le Bel-sur-Quivillon and one from the mill and Desmarais-Ville. Both access is about 110 kilometers. So this Bachelor Mill, what's interesting, it's the only mill in the entire region. So anyone that wants to do any production in a 5-year horizon will need to talk to us. So this mill is a significant asset just because of that, and with the permitting required to get the tilling facility in place in 2021 and 2020, it makes this mill a good asset to own. So a little bit of regional geology here. This year, what you see there is the urban Berry area. So you see here the Gladiator deposit, the Berry deposit, and Windfall. So this Mazar fault, you see where there's zone of decompression right here. So Berry is located in one of them. This is some folks may remember some press release from back in 17, Moss area. Well, we've been drilling a little bit on the north end. This year, this detailed geophysics was done in 2019. So we realized that the zone of decompression was a little bit further south. So we're going to drill that this winter. This is an area you can only drill in the winter months. So it was identified late in the winter 2020. And with the COVID, we had to postpone the program to winter 2021. So we're really anxious to go and drill over there. Also, we're going to go and test this sector here. This one here is on Lac Rouleau system. And then there's another zone of decompression. So this one is southeast of Berry, and we're going to test that also this winter. So for the regional target, we're going to focus a lot on Moss, and this one here, we call it southeast of Berry. Doesn't have a name yet. So now we go to the 3 projects. So the majority of our drilling this winter will be to expand the resource and continue to expand the inferred category. We're not yet at the stage of converting inferred into indicated. So right now, the focus will be like you saw in the press release from yesterday, there's a lot of north dippers that were identified. So we're going to continue to drill them this winter to try to better understand the amount of them that we have. We know we have the main zone, the north zone. Now we're starting to see more zone sub-parallel to the main and north, but it needs more drilling. But this winter, there will be a lot of drilling for to try to gauge the amount of dippers we have per vertical meter. And then next summer, we're going to drill back on the water on barges, and we're going to drill at depth to the east because there's no drilling done. So this is an area that must get attention next summer. But this winter, it's going to be focusing on the subparallel structure north and south of the main zone over in the core of the Gladiator deposit. Originally, there's more to find. So there's a regional shear system where there's potential for more discovery. So this is more regional target, but this winter we're going to continue to focus on Gladiator. So it's just to show you what's out there. Like it's over a 12-kilometer strike where there could be other deposit hiding in there. Now we move to Barry. Barry had an open pit extraction between 2008 and 2010. It's all permitted for extraction. We drove a decline in 2018 to do drilling from underground. And so that the Barry project is significantly advanced. So once we complete a feasibility, it would not take very long for Barry to start producing and ramping up. This summer, we drill over the Lac Lin pit over here. And right now we're drilling over to the north end of this, the Barry deposit. I'll show you a slide later. So this winter, this area here, this will be our focus for the next few months. So it's to extend the resource to the east and down plunge. So we're going to do a lot of drilling there this winter. But presently, you see this black dash line? That's the Messiah fault. It's the same fault as a Windfall. And we originally thought that this fault was right against the Barry deposit. But then the detailed geophysics shows us, and it's very clear on this picture, that the fault is just a little bit further north. So right now we're drilling this zone here where there was no drilling done. You see all the gray line. This is what was the historical drilling. So right now we're focusing over here. And then this winter, when the ground freezes, we're going to be drilling east of the Barry deposit. So it's a lot of upside potential to expand the resource here. Now we move to Mulroy. Mulroy is a very young discovery. It was discovered in 2016. We drilled from surface. On surface, just on the southern edge of the tailings facility, right over here. So it was discovered in 2016. We drilled it 2016-17. 2017, we did an exploration drift from the bachelor working on level 11 and on level first. It took us almost a year to get to Mulroy. And then we drove another exploration drift on level 14. Just to give you an idea, level 11 is about 500 meters below surface. And we're presently doing a 10,000-ton bulk sample from the M1 shear. The bulk is near completed, and we're expecting the consultant report before the end of December. Also, one thing to note is we're still, this year, the junction of Bachelor and Mulroy is still to be identified. What we see right now is this junction might be a little bit further inside, so a little bit further east. So it's like you got the Bachelor and Mulroy plunging underneath the inside the page. So we're probably going to need to do an exploration drift to go and locate that junction. Originally, another detailed geophysics higher density program we did in 2019, and it revealed that there's another cyanide intrusive in the same camp. We call it the clone because it looks almost identical to the O'Brien intrusive over here. So right now we have a regional drill trying to locate the next Mulroy. So just to give you a little bit of an insight of what's going to come up with drill results. So to summarize, we drilled 70,000 meters this year so far. We're continuing. We're going to do 63,000 meters between now and the end of April. We already have 2.1 million ounces identified between Gladiator, Barry, and Mulroy, and we're going to continue to expand those resources. Also, we got big land package, over 38,000 hectares of very unexplored, so a lot of potential for additional discovery in that camp. We have a mill, a functional mill. It's operating right now at 800 tons a day, but we're getting it permitted to go up to 2,400 tons a day. We're in Quebec, so it's a good place to do business. We got all the suppliers here in Val-d'Or, diamond drilling, and we have a lot of the high quality labor pool to explore and do geology on narrow vein gold system. And then, of course, like the significant discount that we have right now at $33 makes it a really good asset to look at for future investment.
Okay, thanks, Pascal. So I just want to remind everyone that there is a Q&A box at the bottom of their screen. And so if they want to ask a question, they can just type it in there. So I guess, Pascal, I just wanted to start with talking a little bit more about the mill. So you described it as almost a hub and spoke solution for all of the nearby mines. Could you maybe just talk about the trucking costs to bring ore up from Gladiator and Barry to the mill versus building a greenfield mill down closer to those projects?
Well, right now, the trucking cost is probably about, I would say, close to $20 a ton, using a fuel price of maybe $1.10 for the diesel. Again, it's all Canadian, what I'm talking here. Versus a mill, like to build a brand new mill over at Gladiator or Barry would probably cost us close to $200 million. But the biggest thing is the permitting phase, the tailing facility. With what happened in BC and what happened in Brazil, the different ministries are very, very prudent on emitting permit for tailing facilities. So there's a lot, like we have an existing facility and we had to do additional geotechnical drilling to confirm just to raise the dikes a little bit further up. So like it's very, rightfully the ministry wants to make sure that the tailings facility is not going to be a liability in the future. So, it's not really the cost. The issue is the timing. Like it takes you 4 or 5 years just to get the thing in place. And so that's why we're going with the fact that we already have the mill built and the tailing facility built. You save money and time. So and the other thing is building a mill is all upfront capex, whereas trucking costs is an opex over the life of mine. So anyone that knows NPV knows that operating costs on year 8 is next to nothing on year 0. So.
Okay. So just staying then on the theme of the mill, we have a question. So what is the current mill capacity, and could its capacity be further expanded without additional permitting? And that's half of the question. I'll come back to the other half after. So so just asking about the capacity of the mill.
Right now, the mill's permitted for 800 tons a day. It can, depending on the hardness of the rock, because the bottleneck is the grinding circuit. So if you have a softer rock, yes, you could process more rock, but the permit, the speed limit, I could say is 800 tons a day. But the permitting process that we're going through right now is to bring that speed limit up to 2,400 tons a day. And it would be investment on the grinding circuit requirement, a larger thickener, and more leach tank. So more tanks outside, so you get your retention time for the leaching process to occur.
And then, so once you have Bachelor at 2,400 tons per day, how much tailings capacity will you have at that time in terms of years or tonnage?
The permitting we're asking the ministry is 8 million tons. So if you go 2,400 tons a day times 355, so it's 850,000 tons a year. So 10 years with 8 million tons. The tailings can take more, but the permit we're asking is 8 million tons. So on year 5, what you do is you ask for another permit to expand the tailings up to, let's say, 12 or 13 million tons capacity. But when we did the permitting process in 2018, we had to pick a number. So we pick 8 million tons, but what we designed technically can take more, but it's a limit. It's a limit that you get on your permit. But going on year 5, you can go in year 5 and ask for a permit extension.
Okay. And then is there any intention to keep bulk sampling using the mill? And could you use this to continue to fund your drilling?
Well, the bulk sampling, you fund, it can fund your drilling, yes. And it actually does. It increases your flow through investment capacity without diluting with shareholders. But the ministry, I actually had a discussion with a ministry representative this morning, and the law right now, it's 5,000 tons, and you got to go by 5,000 ton bulk sample. Now in 2021, there might be changes. Well, not changes, but modification to the directive. But right now, the industry goes with 5,000 tons bulk sample request, and then you could, ask, like if you have different shear zone, different zone, you could ask different bulk. But us, in our case, Mulroy, the 10,000 tons is what we can access from level 11. To do the bulk on level 14, we will need some capital development. So, and that's money that you take away from diamond drilling. So I don't envision other bulk sample at Mulroy this morning. But next month, when my geologists continue to advance the drilling program, they may say, well, Pascal, we have another zone. We could go do a bulk in 2021. But right now, it's not in the cards for 2021 to do another bulk.
Okay, we actually have quite a few questions just about your cash position and financing. So maybe we can just update everyone kind of holistically on that. So what's your burn rate, current cash position, the financing that you've announced? How's that going?
Well, we have good support from the existing shareholders, like the large one. So it's going good. We're a little bit aggressive on the spot, like the pricing of the private placement. But you have to do that when you receive an offer that was at $1.60. So the offer at $1.60, we didn't have time to really look at it, that it expired. But we had to disclose it because we were in the middle of the financing. So we had to price it properly. So we priced it at $1.15. It's going to close very soon. It's going pretty good. The last financing, the last capital raise, significant capital raise, was in August 2019. And the investors that they see, if you read our financial statement from September 30th, that, like we need this financing to continue the exploration program for 2021. The burn rate, well, it's close to $2 million a month with 7 drill rigs in corporate. But I tell you, if you look at our financials, you'll see that the majority of the dollars goes on the diamond drill in the field. So I hope I answered the question there.
Yeah, and just a follow up, how much is it? How much does it cost you for 1 meter of drilling?
Including geology, assaying, everything, all in, about $130 a meter. That's on land. On the water, or well, this winter we're not going to do any ice drilling because it's very, very expensive, and you do all your prep to drill for 2-3 weeks in March. So we're not doing ice drilling this winter. So instead of that, we're going to do barge drilling. Barge drilling, it's about $150 a meter, but in the summer months.
Okay. So I guess, so just moving to, as you guys look to start producing, a few questions there. So first, would you be able to run the mill for Barrie and Mulroy around 800 tons per day while you're doing construction to get to the 2,400 tons per day? And then what does the timeline look like as you start to layer in your assets?
Okay, well, there will be some forward-looking statement there, but
that you can talk about.
Because people try to read what's going to be in the PEA, but yes, the plan is to be able to run the mill at 800 tons a day while we're constructing beside it. So and then there'll be a shutdown, for conveyor changeover. But the plan is to run the mill while we're doing construction. It's going to be different people, different skill set, so you can do both. Plus, everybody knows when you do narrow vein development, the Barrie won't start at 800 tons a day on day one. It's going to take, the ramp up is going to be over probably 18 months. Same thing for Mulroy. If I take the experience that we had over at Bachelor in 2012, it takes about 18 months to ramp up to commercial production and those narrow vein deposits. So so the plan, so you can ramp up while you're doing your construction, and then once the construction is completed, then you switch over, and then you can continue to ramp up over the 800 tons a day capacity of the existing mill.
And then could you provide just some more color on the permitting process and how far along in the process you guys are, and if you guys see permitting as any risks to your timeline?
You see, we completed the environmental impact study last year. There was a few Q&A sent to us this spring during the COVID quiet time or shutdown. We answered those questions. We had to do some clarifying drilling this summer on the west dike of the tailings facility, so which we did that. We answered the questions to the ministry this fall, actually early November. So it's up to the Ministry of Environment now to assess our response, and they may come back with another set of questions or not. It will be up to them. I'm not sure, but if everything goes well, summer 2021, we could have a permit to begin the tailings facility construction. But first, before that, you got to finance it. If you start doing tailings facility and mill construction, you got to finance it, and to finance it, you need to show the market how many ounces you have and what's the potential. So you got to do the PEA. So the PEA is going to be timed pretty close with the permitting process. So it's a good thing we started the permitting process in 2018, because then we would have done the PEA in 2021, and then we would be chasing the permit to maybe get it in 2023. Where in this case, you got the PEA in 2021, you get your permit, and then right away, boom, you move to feasibility. So to me, it's more the feasibility and the PEA that's on the critical path than the permitting.
Okay. And then also, would you be able to talk about learnings from this drill campaign compared to like your previous drilling? And is there anything that you're getting, more excited about or looking at differently?
Oh, yes. That's an excellent question. It wasn't from me. I didn't cue anyone to ask me that question, but the press release from yesterday, if you go to figure 4, I don't have it on my screen to share, but if you recall figure 4, there's a lot of North Dippers that are being identified right now. So this winter, I look forward to drill from the shore, drill to the south, and try to intersect all these North Dippers between the main zone and the North zone, and see how many of them we have, because this could be a different. Like right now, we always been looking at Gladiator in the eyes of narrow vein mining. Go after the main zone, and then you look how many dippers you can get. But if you have all these stacks dippers, well, maybe there's a different way to look at it. And so the geologists and the engineers will be very, very busy this winter.
Okay, so another question came in, and I know you're going to have to be limited with what you say in regards to this, but there have been a few questions along the lines in terms of the unsolicited bid that you guys got at $1.60, and just asking, kind of what happened here? Why isn't there more public information in terms of who the bidder was? Is there going to be any more transparency to this regard? I don't know how you can answer this, but over to you.
No, I'll have to stick to the press release. We receive a call, it was unsolicited, but obviously the person calling us was prepared because we received a proposed LOI, and we were giving a short time frame to look at it. So we tried, and luckily we had already financial advisor and legal advisor sitting on the sidelines ready to jump on the field, because a company our size, we're in the urban berry camp. Of course we have a data room, and yes, maybe we have people in our data room with CA sign, so yeah, there's a process already, that we're not for sale. But if people come and ask you, well, how much is your house, are you interested? Well, we don't know what's the full value of our asset yet, because we're drilling, but we have an idea. And so yeah, there's people looking at us, and then we had financial advisor helping us. But given that short time frame and the offer, the financial advisor could not give us a clear answer right away. So we couldn't answer before the offer expired. So the offer just expired, but we were in the middle of a financing. So that's why we had to disclose it, or else, I'm not sure what we would have done. But anyway, like if the offer would have been, let's say $3, well, it's like someone comes to your house on Friday night and say, hey, Pascal, is your house for sale for $3 million? Well, of course, but if he offers you $600,000 and your assessment is $550, and you're going to leave on Tuesday morning, well, maybe no, I'm gonna stay in my house, but this is different. They may come back after we complete this financing, and then we discuss on a and more partnership. I don't know, but right now it's not our plan. Our plan is to drill, to do the mineral resource estimate, and do the PEA. If something comes along, well, we'll look at it. It's our duty to do that for the shareholders. So yes, we'll look at it, but right now the focus is to increase the value of our asset through drilling and through the PEA.
Okay. So that looks like the end of the questions. I mean, I just want to say, this is a story that over at Adelaide, I mean, we really like. You have a very young camp with a lot of exploration yet to come. You already have a very well-defined resource, which is expanding. There's been, management changes and governance changes, which we think are all very, very positive. They own the only mill in the region, which we also think is very strategic. And definitely, if you look at the valuation, we think there's significant room here for the share price to go higher. Pascal, I'm not sure if you have any last words that you just wanted to leave people with.
Well, stay safe. No, like in this period of a pandemic, stay safe, everyone. And and on our side, we've got all the procedure in place. We're drilling. We've got the people are like the procedures are all followed, and our workers are conscious of the what's surrounding them. And we're fortunate, we're blessed to be in the Abitibi region. It's very quiet on our side, and we want to keep it that way. And we're going to focus on drilling and delivering results to our shareholders and investors.
Okay, great. Thanks everyone for joining us. And thanks, Pascal. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.